Hey, welcome. Glad you're joining me on this video cast on a great afternoon up in the mountains in North Carolina. I often come up to western North Carolina. My second home. I went to the University of North Carolina and still come up a good bit to renew old friendships and spend some time in the mountains where I have a chance to write and do a variety of things up here. And I'm here with a couple of my grandkids enjoying the great weather. Hate to tell you folks back in Louisiana this. I called home last night. It was 103 degrees yesterday in Baton Rouge, and I built a fire last night. I'm here in shirt sleeves now and getting ready to put on a sweater. It's just chilly. It may break 70 degrees up here, so I want to rub it in a little bit to all the folks down the deep south. I want to tell you this though. I had an interesting discussion. I had lunch today at a local restaurant. Ran into some folks who are here at a conference, large conference up here involving educators from the North Carolina area and some retired educators, some politicians, some legislators up here talking about their problems and what to do in their particular state. And they knew a lot about LSU. Some of them had studied at LSU, others had taught down there, and they were very concerned about all the controversy involving Louisiana State University. They all are tied to the University of North Carolina, that is traditionally one of the top public universities in America. And as a consequence, they were pointing out the differences to me and expressing some real concern over the fact that things aren't as good as LSU, and they were hoping for it. They were very big LSU fans, wanted to cheer on LSU. And they were making the point that, and we all talked about this in some detail, that they knew about Huey Long. Huey Long was really the father of the modern LSU. He said he was going to make LSU the Harvard of the South. And you got to give it to Huey Long, whether you liked him as governor or not. He put tremendous resources into our state university. He brought in top scientists from all over the country and all over the world. The music department at LSU was on par with any music department in America. They had grand opera, they had a symphony, and he brought in conductors from all over the country to perform and be a part of the LSU scene. Of course, they had great athletic programs then like they do now. But North Carolina, the folks in North Carolina pointed out, say, listen, we're not too bad ourselves. We did win the national championship in basketball this year. We beat LSU in baseball last year in the NCAAs. Didn't make it quite this far this year, but we got a pretty good athletic program. But the difference, and they pointed this out to me, they knew this. You know, the graduation rate for our athletes at LSU is about 35%, maybe 40% of the kids that start out actually finish. At North Carolina, it's 85%. And what they're saying is you can have great athletic programs and also perform very well academically and be an intellectual center in the South, like Carolina, I think everybody agrees is. And several of them pointed out to me that you went back into the 1950s. Robert Penn Warren had written and taught at LSU, who wrote All the King's Men. A number of great intellectual pursuits were done at LSU. Hubert Humphrey went to school at LSU. A lot of great things happened up till the 50s. The LSU press, that today is in jeopardy of being shut down, was one of the great presses of the country. They pointed out that their competition back then was LSU. It was the LSU press and the North Carolina press. And everything else was kind of a wasteland. Where today that competition is not here. And we talked about the fact that in the Southeast Conference, which is a comparison you make, that LSU is at the bottom of the barrel in the Southeast Conference. I saw a press conference not too long ago by LSU saying, gosh, we cracked the top 130 colleges in America. Well, we tied for 130th with Sanford. Not Stanford in California, but Sanford, a small school up in Birmingham, Alabama, and virtually every other Southeast Conference school, with the exception of the Mississippi colleges, were significantly ahead of LSU. When it comes to endowment, they were very well in the discussions about North Carolina's endowment, some $2 billion to take care of their needs. 20% of all the funding for the University of North Carolina comes from the endowment they raise. At LSU, it's a pittance. Our endowment at LSU is about $600 million, the lowest of virtually any Southeastern Conference school in this country, the lowest. And so no major school in the country has as low an endowment as LSU. They've done a very poor job of raising money from their alumni. And so they were lamenting what could be done about LSU. They had some concerns about the 4 boards we have in Louisiana. They have 1 in North Carolina. They have 1 in California. 4 boards make every school compete against each other, and everybody wants to be a flagship university. Not enough money to do that. The whole funding proposal, not having the endowment, not having a variety of grant programs that other schools have, that has undermined the effectiveness of LSU. And they say certainly the legislature has a lot of fault for not funding it properly, but LSU ought to be there in the center of all this energy to lay out their own program for what they can do to move towards this era of excellence. So I share those thoughts with you because there's great concern outside the state of Louisiana about what LSU should be. It's a great university and it has the potential to be outstanding in the future, but right now there's a lot of problems and they're recognized not just in Louisiana but all over the country. So I'm going to write about it here more in the weeks to come. Keep an eye on my website here at jimbrownla.com, and I'm going to give you some more facts and figures. I'm not trying to pontificate and be the guy that knows it all. I just want to give you the comparisons, and you can make the choices of what we should be doing. And obviously, I think the consensus from this last session of the legislature is not a heck of a lot was done to further higher education in Louisiana. We still have a long, long way to go. Well, you folks get back to that 103-degree temperature. I'm going to go build that fire, put on a sweater, enjoy this great weather up here, and take care. I'll see you back home in Louisiana. Thanks for tuning in with me.